my dollars make it hurt.
Welcome back to the iTutor Show, and today I'm going to talk about how do you actually measure the return of your investment into your brand. And that's a great question because a lot of companies are wondering, okay, from my annual revenue, how much percentage do I actually put into my marketing and advertising and branding spend? And it really depends on the type of industry that you're in. Some people may say, hey, if you're more customer facing, B2C, typically, companies spend a little bit more into their branding and marketing efforts. What we've done is we've taken a look at multiple companies from different niches and industries over a long period of time. This is a longitudinal study, and we've specifically measured the amount that they've spent in their branding and compared it to their returns. If you'd like to learn more about this, we actually have released our quarterly white paper that speak about these stats and these studies a little bit more in depth so you can apply that to your business. So let's get right into it. So the first thing that we recognized is brand recognition, no pun intended. What we've seen is that with brand recognition, what that means is that when you see an ad, the features of the ad, the logo, the colors, the typography, the tagline, the overall message, it just for some reason resonates on a subconscious level because the features are consistent with their overall messaging. So when you see it, it just feels trustable. And what that means is that this is an ad that you don't need to show so frequently to create that resonance between your product, your service, and the potential customer. So you're literally saving on your advertising spend, as opposed to brands that are just not really well developed, maybe hired someone on Fiverr and just put something together with not a lot of thought. When people see it, they don't really get it. It doesn't really click. So they gotta show that ad over and over and over again. The frequency's gotta go up, and so does your advertising spend, just so that people create a sense of trust. So brand recognition can actually amount to a 2% increase in your yearly revenue. So you might wanna ask, what does that mean for your business? Only you can answer that. The next thing that we've seen is that a really well-developed brand actually gives a higher perceived value. So I'm gonna use this example of chocolates because I love chocolates. Let's pretend they're these delicious chocolates from Germany, milk chocolates. They just melt in your mouth, absolutely delicious. And I take two from the factory. One, I wrap up in newspaper. Let's say I gather some shoestring and I make a little bow with it, okay? The next box, I wrap it up in this gold foliage with this red velvet ribbon, and it's just glowing. And now I take these two boxes to the marketplace and see what people are willing to pay. For the newspaper wrapped box, would you pay $10, $15, maybe even $20? What about the box that's covered in gold? Would you think that that's worth maybe $100, $150, maybe even $200? What I'm trying to get at is that people have a really innate understanding of what is valuable. Because why? We've been targeted with ads from a very young age, and we just have a really good sense for what is of value. We're willing to pay the price for good quality. So think of this wrapping as the wrapping of your business. You want it to match the quality of your products and services so people can pay the price that is truly justified for what you're offering. Higher perceived value actually leads to 2% increase in revenue again, and that's great news if you do this right. What we've also seen is that it increases brand confidence. Now I'm gonna relate to a study in University of California where they wanted to see if we can improve the confidence in voters in certain politicians. We've taken these write-ups, these bios, and a list of the things they're gonna do for the community. And another study had faces of certain features that communicated trust, leadership, and integrity. And they took these faces and they matched it up with these bios. And then they put out the votes. And what we have found is that these trustworthy faces actually increased voter confidence, and it led to an increase of votes by 12%. So this face is literally the face of your brand. What would an increase of 12% do for your brand? Now you might say, okay, Yulia, well, this is a political realm. My business has nothing to do with that. Well, fair enough. But you could also translate confidence to employees. Employees that are more confident in your brand, these are the superstars that will show up early to work, stay longer, and just really go that extra mile because they feel so confident that the service and the product is going to be something really good for the people that they're offering it to. And that confidence could actually yield a very nice return of 3%. Now this leads into our next topic, brand pride. You might wonder, okay, well, what's the difference between brand confidence and brand pride? Well, let's just say you're very confident that your Honda Civic will get you to your final destination. However, you're gonna have a lot more pride driving that McLaren to work, showing it off to your friends, maybe picking up that hot date. So brand pride inspires brand loyalty. It's something you want to share with your friends because it reflects who you are. It can also attract top talent. If you want high performers in your company, brand pride can really attract the golden nuggets that's going to take your company to the next level. We have seen that this also results in 2% increase in annual revenue. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is brand equity. You might wonder, well, how are these companies on the NASDAQ worth so much? For example, let's just choose McDonald's. McDonald's equity value was $26.4 billion. And what we have found that 71% of this has actually been attributed to their brand. It is the brand that actually drove the value of their shares. So why is this important? Because when you have that exit strategy, if you want to sell your company, if you want to sell shares of your company, or maybe you're going through an acquisition, you really want your shares to be worth the value that they deserve. So what we found is that really well-built brand truly justifies the value of your shares, and that will really give you a nice return. So brand value is not something that you could only measure in the short term, but it's something you could also see in the long-term success. So these are just a few tips about how to measure the return of your investment in your brand. Again, I do have a white paper that I'd love to share with you if you want a little bit more information and look into those studies. I know I always nerd out. Take that information and really apply it to your business and make a well-informed decision of how to invest into the aspects of branding and marketing. So I hope this was useful for you. If you liked it, give me a like, a share, or a comment, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.